introduction. I think this is more like a little bit of an overview, some kind of inspiration, hopefully, to kind of get started with this, because there's so many things you can do with this. Yeah, we'll try to explain how this can work. So I think Industry 4.0 is a pretty big term. It's a vast thing, and it can be kind of difficult to grasp, understand what it is, and also like probably feel a bit difficult to get started with. But I think the concept of this, the term Industry 4.0 is like just to create more efficient, agile, more productive kind of systems, production systems, and so you can improve productivity, reduce waste, increase quality, and increase safety, work safety. Work safety is, I think, is an interesting area for this. But kind of the main thing here is to be able to change business models a bit and create more agile business models to kind of create or to meet the requirements, meet the competition, be faster to do things, and be more intelligent and use the information that you have. So this is very short, but like, how can you do this? How can you get started? And I think like there are different ways of doing this, and typically we always come to the same type of conclusion. You need to break it down into small pieces, and then you try to do it piece by piece. So, and people like Gartner are talking about composable business. That's a way of thinking of it, to kind of break your business down into smaller pieces, trying to figure out where does it hurt, where does it hurt the most. And from there, also kind of what gives the most benefit, what gives the value to our business, the fastest value, and try to prioritize that. There's a lot of different ways of prioritizing this. There's a framework called SAFE, which is an agile framework that can be used for this. They have a lot of fancy, good ways of prioritizing business value. Then you isolate this problem, figuring out what's the output, from what should the output be, and from there you can have what do we need to create this output. And then if you have the right tool, of course, you can build a prototype of this, and from the prototype you can iterate it, you can make it good enough to run it, to launch it, and from there you can monitor, you can improve, you can kind of expand the solution. So and this, I think, is what we're trying to emphasize, that you can kind of build the Industry 4.0 a little bit piece by piece, one problem at a time, and then you can kind of start somewhere and you can build on it, get it to work. And maybe it's no surprise, but we think, of course, that low code is the perfect Industry 4.0 builder to build this type of solution, because you can easily build these prototypes, get them working, and you can expand the solution. If you build an entirely new factory, of course, you probably think differently, but if you have a factory, if you have a manufacturing facility, this is a really good way of doing it. And you can connect all parts of your business here, at least not just the machines, but as you've seen, like we have mobility, you have the data overview, the analysis, and whatever you need. And we'll cover two different concepts today, very briefly, to understand what is happening with the things, with the stuff that you have. One way is to actually register the data coming from a machine, or to be able to both get the output from a machine, but also kind of control the machine from this machine integrations that we can do. The other way is to observe also, which we also will cover, which then is called computer vision. So you actually observe what is happening, and from there you can build a model to understand what is happening, and you can react from that. So how can you connect though to things? First of all, I think like Novacura Flow is built to connect, and I don't know if you heard it, but we have a new version. And someone called that connect for some reason. It's like maybe we think it's good to connect things with Flow. And it's made to connect the people who's working, the management who kind of needs to understand what is happening, needs the intelligence, the systems, the machines that you have, try to work there, get them to work together to kind of create value in your business. It's like this is what the platform is for. So that's also you see the integration maybe from Andreas before. Like this is how you can work with Flow. Flow is really good at doing this. So what can you connect them with Flow? I think basically anything. You can connect anything. Everything from machines, can be old machines, can be new machines, can be robots, can be vehicles, can be scales, can be cameras. I think, yeah, I don't know anything that you can't connect, and you can do it using different technologies. So using cloud, IoT, and web services is one way of doing it, but the kind of thing, I think that something that other platforms might not be able to do is go down level here, like going down to OpenC is one format that is widely used, but also like TCP communication. You talk directly to the machines. It's like ones and zeros, basically. There's also a concept, or if you want a wireless communication, there's this low Bluetooth low energy devices. Like my watch, for example, is a device like that. That we also can connect directly into the Flow client. And the connectors are there. We have the connectors. And I think this is something that can be tried. This is something that you can use today. This is something that we have in the platform. So this is just two examples of connectors that we have, one UPC UA and one Modbus. The cool thing with this, I think, is like Modbus is from the 70s or something. It's like really old stuff. And then we have all the new stuff with AI. We have like IoT. So what we're doing here is like combining really old technology with new fancy technology. And you can put all this into one platform. And the connectors are easy to use. They are graphical like this, no code connectors. So it's more or less configuration to make this work. You just need to know how to connect the computer to the machine. That's like wires and stuff. We also built this PCB connector for Specma. So this is the use case that Per will go through in a few minutes. To be able to talk to their machines had a special format. So if we don't have the support, we can also build the support. And I think there has been a lot of talking about cloud today. We'll have this new platform Connect. So does this work with cloud and Connect and over networks? And the answer is that we have that concept as well. So we have something called connector service, which is in Connect called an agent. I hope there's an agent. So that is something you have locally, and you can still have the Flow Cloud installation up here. So you don't have to have it in the same network. So this service talks to the machines, talks to the on-prem systems, and you can still get this to work. If there's if you need to make things fast, if you need to react fast, if it's more like online direct communication, maybe it's better to have everything local. But if it's not that time critical, you can have this type of solution as well. And of course, if you have like if you're already using like IoT cloud, if you have machines that are talking to some cloud, we can get this to talk, of course, as well. Then it's easier. You don't have to go through the firewalls, the networks. And I added this like 15 minutes ago because I was on Alias. Of course, if you have the flow integration add-on would be perfect to add to this as well if you want to control what is happening and get the data in and out of your machines. One simple example, just to show the kind of concept a little bit, very briefly, is something that we did some time ago for a customer serving cars like this. And they have these taps with fluid oil coming out of them, and the challenge is to fill the right oil to the car with the right amount of fluid, which was manually controlled. Yeah, so you have this kind of setup with terminals. There's a tank with oil. There's like a computer controlling these valves here. So the concept here is that we have flow here somewhere that traffic is routed through the network to the different valves here. So we know the address to each valve, and we can control it. And this is very straightforward. This is very simple, and this just illustrates how you can work with flow, because so what you can do here is like you can limit the communication to whatever you're connecting to a very small scope. So you can connect very specifically to one machine, sending one little byte of data or a few bytes of data in every cogwheel here. So you can connect to many machines. You use every cogwheel is like a command using a connector with an output. You send something and you get something back. And then you can build whatever integrations you need, whatever type of logic you need to connect to your machines using these different connectors. And you can use every connector, of course, in the same workflow. So you can connect many different machines in many different ways. So this just describes what happens. Like we clear the screen is one command. We initiating the fluid tapping, like so you open the kind of the hose and start tapping fluid. Update the screen, and here we have some kind of loop going around reading the device, the monitor, to see what happens, how many cycles of fluid have we exposed. And then when it's done, when we have filled enough of fluid into the car, we stop it and we update the screen again. It's just a very simple example, but it kind of gives you an idea of the concept working with flow and machine interfaces. Super simple. So I think what we're trying to say here is like the way Novacura Flow is built fits this type of solutions perfectly. It fits Industry 4.0 perfectly. Yeah, and some ideas, just some kind of overview of what we have done so far, like with this, is connect to really old stuff. Just put a PLC on whatever you have, and you can communicate with the thing. Even the picture is old with this. Robots, also the devices around the kind of the fences here. You can check if it's open or not for work safety, or the rigs that we have. You can use these mobile devices for measurement. We have a customer measuring kind of pipe thickness, and that device is communicating directly to the flow client. So you get the metrics, the values directly to the client. Put it on a vehicle. You can have a small installation of flow on a vehicle and register everything is what is happening in the vehicle, or like larger things like a boat. We have a few customers here today using flow offshore. Or as we'll see, use computer vision to actually observe something, and from that observation you can do things. Just show you one more slide. The quickest vision AI thing you ever had, I think. This, I don't know if you have seen this before, but this is our kind of computer vision demo. We like cookies apparently and candy, so we have like a table of cookies, and the concept here is to understand if a cookie is good or if it's bad. And then we have this model. You can see you have green or red squares here. So a green is a good cookie, a red is a bad cookie. So we have made a cookie model for this to kind of understand to separate the good cookies from the bad cookies. And this is kind of applies to whatever you want to observe, to whatever objects you have. So of course you can do this. This is the camera that is watching, observing the cookies, and you also have the software on this camera directly, so it does everything within the camera, and it can also, of course, observe not only cookies, but can do other stuff in bolts in this case, or whatever you need to kind of observe. So you build these models depending on your the use case. You train the model. You have like images that you annotate. So you say this is a good cookie. You take the next picture. You said this is a bad cookie, and you do that like 100, 200 times, and then you can train the model to work as you want. So the last slide, the general concept of this, just do everything at once. This is the AI software observing whatever you need to observe. In this case, do you have any boxes without a lid? Then you want to do something. You observe it, you have trained the model, and if you find them something that is wrong, it gives you a signal and you do something. So this is like a system in itself. Doesn't need Flow necessarily. But if you want to integrate with your ERP, if you want to do some more, if you want to have some business logic, you can easily add Flow to this software. This will instead, when something happens, this can call a workflow. As we've seen, like Andreas did before, you call a machine workflow and you do something. And you can connect outline portals. You can get all the data out of this process as well to build your own applications or build your own solutions. There's a lot of different use cases for this, and I have more here if you want to see some different use cases. But I think we're out of time now. Yes. So thank you.